Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we are watching Season 2, Episode 12 of Demon Slayer, or Episode 5 of the Entertainment District arc. Who knows anymore, man? This is the world we're living in. The last episode we left off with Daki and Tanjiro beginning to fight. That's scary. Because, look, I trust in my boy Tanjiro, but I am just scared and having Rengoku flashbacks already, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. One thing that I can't believe that I've never considered happening in the show, which isn't like a big thing, is that Nezuko's carrier kind of broke a little bit. Like the strap came off and she had to be put down.
Yeah.
And Tanjiro was like, you stay there, only come out if you're going to get harmed. So I'm wondering if that's going to play any type of role, like if we're going to see any like shots of Nezuko struggling if she hears Tanjiro getting like beaten up, or if he even gets beaten up. Maybe we open up the episode and Tengen like shows up and is immediately helping him.
Right. We weren't really sure exactly where Tengen was running to or going to right in this moment. Is he going towards wherever Tanjiro and Daki are? Is he on the trail of finding Zenitsu and possibly his wives? Where's Inosuke at? Is he gonna jump in? That would up the chances, honestly, for Tanjiro against Daki if it was like Tanjiro, Nezuko, Inosuke, kind of teaming up.
Zenitsu and the wives are they're absorbed, maybe? We don't know that for sure.
We don't know, because I feel like Daki only absorbs those that are
people.
young and beautiful, but like his wives were definitely young and beautiful, and like, come on, Zenitsu, like, yeah, of course.
I hope we get to see the wives. I hope we get to see them fight. I hope we get to see the mice, and I hope we get to see them fight too.
Yes.
I am, like I said, nervous, man. We know that I'm like at least 100% sure there's another demon that we haven't met yet from the intro. We saw something that wasn't clear. I don't know when they will play a role, if they're going to play a role. I don't know. We were talking about it in our free time. We don't know if it's going to be like Tengen fights Daki and this other demon fights Tanjiro and Inosuke and it's like a lower level, or what the situation is going to be. But I'm nervous and excited because it feels like I'm watching Demon Slayer Season 1 all over again. Like that ramp up of like good storytelling and then like action's about to happen. And that's my favorite moment in Demon Slayer, when you have all these emotions and fighting and the music comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Voice acting's on point. I'm so excited. Are you?
Yeah, I feel like last episode did a phenomenal job at setting my mood towards going into this next episode. My excitement, it totally ramped it up for me. I appreciate the first couple episodes of the Entertainment District arc for what they were. They were setting the tone. They were putting all the chess pieces in place. Mm-hmm. And they were great for that, for the storytelling aspect, setting the plot. But obviously, getting back into that kind of action and the stuff I really enjoyed from like Season 1 of Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
The episodes that I was like so emotionally invested into, and the characters. And I feel like last episode started that again for me. Like, oh yes, like I finally feel like I'm really back into Demon Slayer.
Yeah, same here. One last thing real quick. Daki's abilities. Obviously, we saw like part of her, I guess, what would you say, cloth get cut. I think
it's a belt.
A belt get cut off, and then we saw the Oran's face in that belt. I don't know if that means she's free. I don't know if that means she's dead. I don't know if that means she's hurt. I don't know what that means. So maybe we'll get some clarification on that in the next couple episodes as well. But other than that, I'm just ready to get into it. You?
Yeah.
Sweet. They're in the middle of like a busy city too, kind of, you know? Okay,
that's one of the wives?
That's one of them. Yeah, Hinatsu, Makio, and Tsuma. Okay. So she's not absorbed.
They're just being held captive.
Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah. I was thinking as he was running, he probably wants to be sneaky and silent, but those chains
That's
were
what I
making
was thinking.
sounds, and I was like, isn't that like hindering him being sneaky?
I was like, he's a shinobi, right? Like he has his training. I bet you can't hear anything from his footsteps.
Yeah,
and then
he's
you
so
just hear
quiet.
like jingles, like a cat's
He's
coming
also
to you.
the like sound Hashira, so
He's flashy, you know? He wants his arrival to be a show, I imagine. Things are gonna get real flashy.
real flashy up in here.
Aw. Wow. That's insane. She has so much control. Her Tanjiro fighting, right? Tengen cares so much for his wives, man. That's like
a Zenitsu
That's
thing.
like what it's gonna happen with Zenitsu eventually, right? It was like a little strike of lightning too. Whoa.
Some underground tunnel system.
Roar. Whoa. Did you see his blades?
Uh-huh.
Who's she talking to? Is she just like kind of getting information from the belts?
Her design is awesome.
It is.
Oh no, is it broken?
Oh,
Please don't tell me it's
no.
about to break or something.
Don't you dare!
Oh! Compatible with his body.
Takes a toll.
In theory, is that maybe why his dad ended up so sickly?
Maybe it just takes something away from you.
Mm-hmm.
This music, man.
A blaze.
A blaze. You had to do that to me.
I know, I was like about to cry.
Raging Sun. The sound of breathing. Oh. Like an after image? What?
What?
Fake rainbow.
rainbow.
The thread. Fire wheel. Oh no.
I was like, that was too good to be true.
Oh man. It's so cool to see him use these.
Oh no.
Oh.
She's like
Recovery
sliding with
breathing.
them.
Whew. Oh man.
I love how she's using them to stand.
You can see like the thread barely move off the blade. It looks so cool. What's he doing to himself, man?
It makes me really worried about the long-term effects.
上限の鬼と自分の持てる力すべてを使って必ず勝つ。守るために。
Okay.
She appeared.
Yes.
理不尽に奪わせない。もう二度と誰も俺たちと同じ悲しい思いをさせない。
ブサイクは頑張ってもブサイクなのよ。
My God, this is insane. That after image was amazing. Do you think Inosuke's fighting underground? Who pays for this damage?
Found it. A hole.
Oh my.
I was about to say that looks like a really small hole. Enough for the belt, I guess.
What?
Like an animal. This is the best thing ever. What?
All the people.
Look at all of them.
Makio.
There we go.
Is that Suma?
Uh-huh. Save them all, Inosuke. It's up to you.
Do you see all the skulls? Jesus Christ.
何をしてるんだよ。よそ様の食料庫に入りやがって。さい、クソ虫が。なんだこのミミズ。キモ。このクソ虫。気が鈍いぜ。欲張って人間を取り込みすぎてんだ。ぶりこいたミミズの攻撃だぞ。伊之助様に当たりゃ死ね。ち、うまいこと人間を避けて切りやがる。こいつの勘の鋭さ。
Yeah, it is. Get Zenitsu out. He needs to be here for the battle.
撃でも敏感に察知してかわす。食料貯蔵庫にまで鬼狩りが入ってくるのは想定外だった。
The food
I know,
locker.
it's so gross.
そいつは薪を捕らえた時に邪魔をしたやつだ。美しかった。以外は殺しても構わない。
Is the belt a different demon?
Is it its own? I don't know. Is it like its own entity? Is it its own demon?
強化しろ。
And strengthen your body. Is it like some sort of like offspring kind of thing? Like a cell from Dragon Ball Z? Whew. Oh! That was badass.
おろそかだけどいいのかい？
やべえ、人間を守りながらの戦いをしなきゃならねえのに、ミミズ帯が。
Tengen?
Tengen.
Or did
The
he
Wise!
release the
Yes! This is so awesome. Fight the good fight.
She's my favorite.
Gotta find them. Yes! Yes! In an instant. This is the first time Inosuke's ever seen this, right? On screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel that. Honestly.
The other one.
Tengen?
Yeah.
Tengen, it's what we saw earlier in the episode. The reunion.
上から何をしたらここまで穴を開けられるのよ。なんだ。いる。
He's here.
入ってきた。
I have chills.
Destroyer of
demons?
この気配。走れ。
Did you see how many slices that was?
天元様。
遅れて悪かったな。元気そうで一安心だ。
昔はこんなんじゃなかったんだけどな。死ぬのは嫌じゃなかった。命を懸けるなんて最低限の努力だった。
お前たちは自分の命のことだけ考えろ。まず俺のところへ戻れ。任務遂行より命。まずはお前ら
Oh my god.
次に仇の人間と
His hair.
そして当然のほほんと地味に生きている一般人も守るが、派手にぶっちゃけると俺お前らのが大事だから死ぬなよと。
自分の命なんか優先してたら大した仕事できないけどいいの？そういう自分が嫌じゃなければそれでいいのよ。そうね。
I want it to be the third one that he pat.
派手にやってたようだな。さすが俺の女房だ。
She's my favorite. Look at that kind smile.
Flashy is right.
こっからはド派手に行くぜ。
Of course,
didn't
him
want-
saying he said the title. I was like, this is a bad sign. The episode's over.
I did not want that to ever end. Why do I feel like Tengen is a really good chef? He, like, the way he's swinging his swords around. Oh my god.
He's definitely a good chef.
I'm so glad that we got to see Suma and Makio fight. I'm so glad.
What I'm excited about when in terms of the wives in Tengen is the care and respect that's like mutual within those relationships.
Yeah.
And admiration even. He literally told them all that they were basically the most important thing to him.
Lives over the mission, you know? And that goes against what they were taught as being shinobi.
And he was like, no matter what, come back to me. Like,
yeah.
And just like how caring he was when he found the one. Which one was the one that
the
had
first
been
one?
poisoned?
Hinatsuru.
Hinatsuru.
Hinatsuru, yeah.
She, like, how lovingly he kind of held on to her and gave her that medicine. And he told her, he was like, leave. He was like, you are not staying. As soon as you feel well enough, leave.
She was like, you heard that sound. You should go, like, immediately. And he was just caring and tender.
そうじゃあよしこさんでしょ早苗さんでしょそれから禰豆子に報告しないと宇髄さんの家は一夫多妻制で15になったら3人の妻をでも妻さんは自ら立候補したそうですよ
Whoa. Oh,
Interesting.
man.
They were picked for him by the head of the family.
Other than Suma.
Kasuma was just like, yes.
Back to the discussion. Okay, that was episode 12/episode 5 of Demon Slayer. That was awesome.
It was flashy.
It was flashy. There's no way I can go in order of importance to this episode because everything like stands out to me. But before I forget, you know that like lightning like bolt that we saw on Tengen's ear when he heard like what was happening underground? That was so cool. That has to be in Zenitsu's future. The whole just hearing, you know.
I just what I love best about kind of Tengen being the sound Hashira and Zenitsu being involved in this is that we saw from Tanjiro that the initial kind of techniques you learn aren't necessarily the ones most compatible with your body.
Yeah.
And in Zenitsu's case, he was also taken in by a former Hashira and trained in that former Hashira's technique, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the technique that is the most compatible with Zenitsu's body.
Yeah.
And Zenitsu is the one who has one technique and has perfected it and multiplies on it. But maybe he could learn a new one.
Yeah, like, or just like expand.
Yeah.
You know? God, Tengen shows up, destroyer of demons on his swords. So to go off what you just said though, like Tanjiro, we got to see him using like flame breathing techniques, no? Like we saw him using Raging Sun, Fake Rainbow. I'm pretty sure we saw him use like Flame Wheel, right?
Flame Wheel, yeah.
Do you think he is able to switch or has the capabilities between switching other techniques easier because he knows Hinokami Kagura, and that is the first first breathing technique, and everything else is derived from that, right? So maybe he is able to learn different techniques easier than other people.
Maybe.
It's, you know what I mean?
He kind of has the foundation, the
Exactly.
good foundation to learn new techniques. Maybe that's like also something in his future. I'm not sure that he kind of
The avatar of Demon Slayer.
Avatar of Demon Slayers.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I was really loving how often they brought up sound in this episode.
me
Like,
too.
she told Tanjiro the sound of his breathing was horrible and annoying.
That's such a good point,
And then
Anna.
she just kept saying things that were different synonyms of sound or hearing or things happening, not necessarily in regard to her hearing stuff
Yeah.
happening, but just she was using those types of words. And I was just loving how often sound was brought up in this episode.
Yes. Zenitsu's move, I don't know if it's a separate demon or just an extension of herself. That embodiment
extension.
of that belt, even noticed like there's an overlapping sound with Zenitsu's lightning slash, and it was Tengen. Like the Inosuke like hearing something under the ground, even like the theme of sound to go along with the sound Hashira is so cool to have in this episode. Ugh.
The belt is definitely an inanimate object that I believe Daki somehow gave its own will.
Yeah. In Dragon Ball
That's
Z,
what I'm thinking.
Cell like spawned Cell Juniors, and I was worried. Now I'm not so much worried because Tengen's here, but I was worried that if this like inanimate object of Daki consumed enough humans, then it could like branch off and birth as its own kind of demon spawn, like extension of her, you know?
Yeah.
And that was worrisome, but now I don't think that's going to happen because Tengen's here. I feel like this inanimate object belt is going to die or lose, or at least be cut off. So did Tengen come here instead of going to Daki and Tanjiro because he thought his wives were here, or because he trusts Tanjiro?
It seems like he might trust Tanjiro to hold out long enough for him to kind of rescue everyone else.
That worries me.
I'm not really sure because I keep thinking, well, yes, the wives are more important, or I wouldn't say, well, they're probably more important to him at this point than our three mains are, but I don't know. He wouldn't like sacrifice their lives, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like Tanjiro's life. I'm not really sure. Obviously, he knows that Tanjiro is fighting around right now. Like, he heard it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening, so I'm not really sure. Maybe he thinks that it's best that everyone can fight together, or maybe he had some faith in Tanjiro to handle things for a little while. I don't know.
It's really cool to see the progression of Tanjiro. Like he is having he's having dilemmas, you know? Like, I hadn't even thought, like, oh, water breathing isn't suited for Tanjiro kind of thing, you know? Because I don't know if we've ever seen an instance where it wasn't compatible with him. I guess we've seen instances that it didn't do the job, you know? It didn't kill a demon, but...
It wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah.
She said that this one was way sharper.
Oh, yeah. Like you saw what happened to his blade.
Yeah.
When he was just using regular techniques or water breathing, but the flame breathing or Hinokami Kagura is definitely sharper.
I'm just concerned with the toll that it takes on his body. And like I was thinking during the episode, we're still possibly thinking with the theory that his dad was a Hashira or was a demon slayer, and this was their technique. And I'm pretty sure Rengoku's dad probably knew Tanjiro's dad. And I'm like, is that why Tanjiro's dad was so sick? If he was using this technique for so long, that maybe it just takes such a toll on the human body that it's hard to withstand that lifestyle and that technique for so long. And maybe that's why the other ones are weaker. The other ones are weaker so that it actually, like, the longevity of your life is longer.
Doesn't affect your lifespan, yeah. I think that makes perfect sense, like even from like a storytelling narrative, because we know Tanjiro's dad was sick, but he also continued to practice the dances while he was sick. Mm-hmm. I was very worried when we saw the flashback of Tanjiro, like he has like a fever and stuff from it. I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know, man. If it's an immediate effect, like we saw, like he was having trouble breathing and had to use recovery breathing to be able to heal himself enough to potentially try it again. How many times can he do that? How hurt is he gonna get? What do you think Shinobu would have said?
I don't know, because like if you think about it, if he keeps doing it, does that mean his temperature keeps rising? Like, how high can a human's temperature actually be before they like completely something horrible happens other than what's already been happening to him? I feel like Shinobu, I wish we could have seen her conversation and diagnosis and maybe even telling Tanjiro to stop doing it anymore. I'm not really sure what she would have said. Obviously, the idea was put into place that if you have a fever for that long, something is wrong.
Yeah.
And that just concerns me for the future for I don't want Tanjiro to get like burnt out,
Yeah.
Literally.
Would it be an external thing because it's an anime? Like, would he start catching on fire because of his breathing techniques?
Maybe his temperature's so hot that he turns like Inferno.
Yeah. Man, those flashbacks of Rengoku,
Rengoku.
I'm so glad that we have it just, that whole like the train arc didn't happen and then we moved on.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that it's influenced our characters so much and is like continues to play an important role in their character development.
Yes,
and techniques.
And that his brother and his dad were included in one of Tanjiro's thoughts.
Yeah.
And what was even more profound to me than them being included, it was Tanjiro talking about how he doesn't want the people he knows to feel grief. And what I thought was super interesting was which characters showed up on the screen for him thinking that. Like, I was shocked to see the one guy that lost, I think it was either his girlfriend or his fiance.
Yeah.
With the teeth chattering demon.
God, I hated that demon.
And then Owl was there. I think the 3 little girls from the Butterfly Mansion. And then Rengoku's
Gyu
brother.
Was there.
And Gyu, yeah.
Like it's just like, I think that's such an important motive to have, and it's so powerful because I think that we kind of felt it alongside the show and the characters in the show, and he saw firsthand what that kind of thing does to people. What more could you ask for an inspiration, even more to want to save people? It's
exactly
really powerful.
Because not only do you want to save people's lives, but you want to save everyone else from having to bear the grief of losing someone they loved.
Do you think we're going to end up seeing type weaknesses in the future, like going forward? I didn't even
think about that.
Like with demons, like maybe water breathing works better on some demons than other, or do you think Hinokami Kagura, like flame breathing, is just OP?
I never thought about the elemental part of it coming in. obviously certain techniques are better against other techniques purely by kind of, like her belt moves so fast. It has so many, like, there's so many strands of it. So obviously a technique that would be very quick and could hit multiple points at once would probably be best. So I don't know if the elemental ever comes into play. Maybe because the demons don't really seem to have any elemental tied to them.
Yeah, very true. Even if it's not necessarily like you have, you have fire, so I'm gonna put you out with water technique. Not even that, but like more so maybe there's a benefit to a water breathing technique, and like it's more of like a calm sense of self, and because you're more calm, that could have a benefit over a certain type of demon, whereas like flame breathing is more like, I don't know, in your face kind of.
Yeah, and I think about like Gyu's fighting techniques are, like you said, calm, like water. I mean, one of his like the favorite moment I had was when he did like deep calm or something.
Deep calm.
And then that's so different from like Tengen's moves and techniques being flashy with the sound. So it is obviously each technique the person treats it differently. It's a different state of mind almost. Yeah. So yeah, that could have its own benefits in battle and its own.
I liked how Inosuke was like to Zenitsu, I wish you were like this all the time, or like you should say it like this all the time.
When you said that, you were like, is this the first time
we've seen it on screen?
Like on screen that Inosuke was seeing Zenitsu like that. Yeah. I think that is the case.
Yeah, I think so. I just have to say one thing that I'm so happy we got this episode that I wanted but I didn't think we'd get is seeing the wives fight and seeing more of their personality, and having Makio and Suma help was so awesome for me. I'm glad that we got the little flashback with awesome hair Tengen. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was awesome.
Do you think didn't he say, wasn't it that when he was 15 he got his wives? So maybe he was like early teens there. 15, yeah. 16, somewhere in there. It seemed like it was a recent time of getting his wives because he was kind of telling them what his kind of rules were and his philosophy on how they should treat their own lives. I feel like that might have been when he was like 15.
That's a good guess. I think that's right. Because it seemed like Makio's reaction to it was the first time she was hearing it, And she was so shocked because this is like kind of the opposite of what shinobi do in their life. It's all about the mission first, not about personal lives.
I doubt they thought they'd be treated with respect.
Yeah, and love to the point of what they are, like Tengen. One thing I can say I really didn't expect after the first episode of this arc was how much emotion and feeling and like empathy I get from Tengen as a character, which obviously makes me love him more. Like, I care so much about him, and I am terrified that we're gonna get a Rengoku situation again. I don't know if our boys could handle it. I don't want to see. Oh, do you think Hinatsuru is gone, or do you think she's gonna come back?
I'm not really sure, because I'm not really sure the extent that they would kind of disobey his wishes. They all know that 100% he would die first. If it came down to them and the civilians, he would die before the civilians and before them. So I also hope we don't get another Rengoku situation, but I do know that if it came down to it, he would do the same thing that Rengoku did. Another thing that I liked from this episode, I feel like this was one of my first instances of seeing Inosuke kind of realize that there were other people in the room that he needs to pay attention to.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. That was such a good point. Like such a good moment in the show. Like he was like character development for Inosuke is like top tier. Like
top tier for sure.
But like his like acknowledgement of having to try to save other people at the same time as fighting this demon, and then like accepting the help seemingly, it's kind of forced help in the instance, but like he does care. He cares about the jobs of being a demon slayer. You know, he wants to slay demons, but he also wants to protect people, which I think is partly because of Tanjiro and probably because of Rengoku too, and how they acted.
He didn't say one line that was like, I can do this, you guys don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stronger, I'm Lord Inosuke. He didn't say one line like that once the wives and Zenitsu showed up.
Yeah.
It was more like he was like, oh, Zenitsu, why can't you do this all the time?
Yeah.
Like, he was impressed with it. And it seemed like he was definitely more welcoming to the assistants.
Definitely. I'm glad that we got to see Tengen's swords because they are awesome to look at. And the return of the opening thread, which we haven't seen for a little bit. Like, I think we saw it in Mugen Train, did we? If we did, it was not...
No.
Maybe? I don't know.
Wait, yeah, with Enmu?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
Maybe
that
with
might have
Enmu.
been the only instance that we saw it there.
But I love seeing it, and I love, like, my favorite part of it isn't even, like, the narrative part of it. It's more so, like, the visual, like, after he uses it on screen, you can barely see the thread still, like, on his sword, like, swaying around. I think that's so cool. Gosh, I love this show, man. I felt so hype like I did in, like, the build-up to episode 19 of last season.
Yeah.
I am so ready for next episode.
I don't know what this means in terms of what's the best training going forward for Tanjiro. Is it to keep pushing his body into doing these techniques and then he builds up a stamina for it? I'm not really sure what the training would be, and I don't really know if the Sound Hashira is the one to give him that training. I feel like this is not his last stop in terms of mastering this or learning about it.
Agreed. It's scary because, like, Rengoku's brother, he was talking to him and he said that I'm still going to get stronger. I'm still going to improve. But he's paving his own path right now. He has a little more information about the Hinokami Kagura, but he doesn't have any direction. He doesn't have any, this is right, this is wrong, this is not what you should be doing. And that's scary in itself.
Because, like, he could be doing things that are actually detrimental to his stamina and his physical body.
Yeah. When
there could be a better way to train with it that doesn't do that. And he just wouldn't know.
God.
Anything else?
No, I just love the fight scenes in this show, man.
I like that Daki is able to be like a spider almost. And
Daki's
have, like,
badass.
her belt can be like legs. Daki's design in general is
A1.
flawless.
A1.
I have 0 to no issues with it. I think it is a great design.
I am worried about myself on an emotional level because I'm attracted to a demon, and I don't know what that says about me. But other than that,
I mean, she's so cute and
Yeah, she
cool, and her design is awesome, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I love her like just power, you know. I think it's so cool, and like I love that it's not just, oh, I have these extensions of myself like Doc Ock and I can hit people with them. No, she can absorb people. She can like talk through them. She can, you know, like use them as like surveillance devices.
And she kept them in a food locker.
And yeah, that was such a haunting terminology, and I also love that Daki seemingly gives people belts if she is suspicious of them to keep like a tab on them.
Oh yeah,
that's so cool.
Good remembering on that. Dang.
That's a really cool like little piece of character there.
I liked how that moment kind of brought Tengen's wives into more like they're not at the level maybe a Hashira would be. Obviously, they're not at Tengen's level, but just the like pure fear that was on her face when she's being handed that belt and Daki was in front of her. I was kind of like, dang.
It's a lot to ask.
I feel like it was a huge ask to send them in this situation, and I think Tengen didn't realize exactly how serious the situation was before. How
close maybe they'd get to a demon, you know?
I feel like if he thought there was a chance that his wives wouldn't even be able to run away if they were close to death, I don't think he would have sent them in there.
Which I think, like, I wasn't sure about how he was going to treat his wives or treat, like, anybody really going into this, like, this arc and just meeting him. But I'm so happy with where they went so far with this character. I'm so excited to
He's
see
had
more.
really great character development from, like, me kind of not being his fan at all. Even when we got glimpses of him in season 1 and all he had to say was that he likes things flashy, I was like, that's cool, but, like, what about emotions? And
Little did you know.
Little did I know that he's actually a pretty caring guy, especially for the people that he loves and that he's closer to. I'm sure he has care and stuff for, like, Inosuke, Tanjiro, Zenitsu now.
We saw so much like happen with Tanjiro, man. We saw like an after image technique, like where Daki like tried to kill him and then it was like a fake. That was so cool.
That was cool.
I was
And she like
out.
had no clue where he was. That was great.
I was like, we've never seen this before, right? Like, okay, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we really hope to see you next week for episode 6 of the Entertainment District